My name is Erjia Chuang, and this is my income analysis report for the descriptive statistic assignment. This analysis examines income data from individuals. The data set includes the following variables: gender, age, school type, and major. First, let's see the measures of central tendency. The mean income is 100,000. The median income is 98,000, and the mode income is 65,000. The close proximity of the mean and median suggests a relatively symmetrical distribution of incomes, implying that the dataset is not heavily skewed by extremely high or low outliers. L is the measure of dispersion. So it quantifies the spread of variability of income levels within the dataset. So there are some parameters that defines dispersion. First one is range. So in this data set, it's 78,000, and the standard deviation is 23,000. And other than these parameters, I also calculated the coefficient of variation. So this CV value, it determines the dispersion of a data set. And when it's 15%, between 15% and 30%, it indicates a moderate dispersion. Our data set shows 23%, which means that it's not heavily skewed towards the high portion or the low portion of the data set. And then using the parameters above, I've also created this extra graph which shows us the normal distribution of the data set. And we can see that the graph shows a beautiful bell curve, which indicates that there are no crazy outliers in this data set. The next is the major distribution. For this, I first calculated the count for each measure and then plotted the pie chart on the right. So from the pie chart, it's very clear that the economics major is significantly less sampled compared to other majors. This will lead to sampling bias, which means that the result might potentially skew towards the majors that are more heavily sampled. Now this salary distribution, I plotted these two charts using the salary as the only factors. The x-axis is the individual IDs. The top is without sorting. The bottom is sorted. So with this, because there are no other factors besides the individual's ID, this would be considered as an unorganized data. This might result in unreliable results. So, yeah. Now is the age and income relationship. As you can see on the right, I plotted this using a scatter plot, and the income increases as the individual age increase. Um, this is very reasonable. Consider a person's years of experience would probably influence his or her salaries. The other thing that I found interesting is that in a lot of age sections, the income range is about the same, which probably indicates that the personal performance is also normally distributed. So, some business implications could be drawn from this analysis. One example that I would mention here is the talent acquisition. So, based on the mean, at the average income, a company can set compensation benchmarking for establishing competitive salary structures, helping organizations attract and retain top talent. But on the other side of things, the dispersion of the income might indicate that this uh, salary structure might not be a one size fits all kind of thing. Business should implement flexible salary ranges based on individual qualifications, um, their areas of experience, their field of studies, and all those related factors. So, for recruitment, the strategy focus should be on doing more analysis like this and considering more factors. Like our data set only uh, consider uh, age, gender, school, and major. There might be more, um, like how an individual has been performed for the past 3 or 5 years, and what kind of field they have been working in, things like that, should also be put into consideration. A conclusion for this analysis, first is the discussion of the result itself. So the typical annual income for the sample population is approximately 100,000, mean income 98,000. So usually, when people view uh, like an income report, the mean and median is the most focused parameters. Now the other one is variation, which I think it's best represented using the coefficient of variation. And for this data set, it's a moderate level of dispersion. So, um, yeah. And then the next thing is probably the most important uh, when we are drawing the conclusion from a data set, which is the influencing factors. Now, in this data set, for example, major and age appears to be more influential than, say, gender or the school that they graduated from. Uh, so in the future, when we're doing this kind of analysis, we should uh, take into consideration of more uh, um, subjective um, factors other than objective. Uh, sorry, the other way. Objective factors other than subjective factors. So it'll be more um, comprehensive. These are the references, and thank you for your time.